Welcome back. In our top business story, the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority is set to award over 400 million dirhams worth of contracts this week, according to a local paper. According to the press reports, DEWA CEO Saeed Al Tayyer stated that projects related to water will be worth nearly 300 million dirhams and 90 million will be dedicated to an electricity project, part of which was signed on Tuesday. He added that DEWA's financial status is more than good and that they are committed to meet their financial commitments in the coming year. The UAE's largest bank by assets, Emirates NBD, may issue an Islamic bond or sukuk as early as next week. A person familiar with the plans said the bank was hoping to issue a benchmark bond of at least $500 million, news agency Xavier Dow Jones reported. The sukuk will be used for general corporate purposes and has a 5-year tenor. In November, Emirates NBD CEO Rick Pudner told reporters that his bank was considering issuing an Islamic bond, but was still undecided on the size and timing. Meanwhile, according to Bloomberg, quoting U.S. investment bank Goldman Sachs, Emirates NBD may be required to set aside as much as 8 billion dirhams by the end of 2013 to cover for bad loans. Shares in Dubai ended higher today for the first time in 3 days on bets European leaders will step up efforts to fight the region's debt crisis. Meanwhile, Abu Dhabi's index fell. Here's a quick overview. To solve the debt crisis, political leaders in Europe are discussing tighter fiscal unity via automatic sanctions for states that fail to keep deficits under control and also bailout fund for Euro states in distress. We earlier spoke with Philippe Dauba-Pantanacce, senior economist at Standard Chartered Bank, and asked him whether fiscal unity really is a way to convince bond markets that no country in the Eurozone will default.
Well, Merkel and Sarkozy agreed, indeed, at their summit, and they will suggest what they call a new fiscal compact at the Euro summit on Friday. The idea is really to force European countries to commit to a stringent fiscal discipline, and where there would be a failure, it would be actually sanctioned semi-automatically by the European Court of Justice, and that is really something Merkel was very keen on. Now, the major issue on this will be the question of the adoption of this new measure. It is likely that it will require a treaty change, and the prospect of the lengthy ratification by all 27 countries has in fact forced Germany to accept France's proposition for a possible ratification of only the 17 Euro member countries. And in fact, we are even possibly looking at ratification that would not be a ratification, but a signing outside the framework of national validation. Now, in terms of market, the hope really is that a comprehensive long-term solution would not only win the markets over, but also the ECB would be allowed to embark on more aggressive bond buying, which would in turn create a more positive trend for the bond markets in Europe.